For your last example of 5.4, what you're going to do is you're going to solve a trig equation by splitting up some signs and by using your plus and minuses. For your sine of u plus v and your sine of u minus v. So we have two formulas we're actually going to use here. Here we have the sine of u plus v plus your sine of u minus v. And for each of these, you're going to have your u is going to be your x, and then your v's, those are going to be a pi over 2 and a 3 pi over 2. So if we use these formulas, we're going to split out the first one. We're going to write this as a, whoops, not in that color. We're not, nope, and, yep, here we go. Now we got blue. So we're going to say the sine of u times the cosine of v plus cosine of u times the sine of v. That's for this formula. And then we're going to have plus, this formula is going to go down here. So we're going to say the sine of u times the cosine of v minus cosine of u times the sine of v. All this is going to be equal to a 1. So what we have to do is we have to take out our u's and our v's and rewrite our equation using, for this first equation, we're going to say u is x, v is pi over 2. So we're going to say the sine of x times the cosine of pi over 2 plus the cosine of x times the sine of pi over 2. And we will evaluate these here in a moment. So that's your first sine. Plus, we're going to say the sine of u in this case is an x, and your v for your second equation is a 3 pi over 2, minus your cosine of x times your sine of 3 pi over 2. So let's just go through and evaluate everything. Well, everything that has a pi in it anyway. So if we evaluate everything with a pi, cosine of pi over 2. Cosine of pi over 2 is just 0. It's 0. Then we have a cosine of x times your sine at pi over 2. That's a 1. So then we have a sine of x of your cosine of 3 pi over 2, where your cosine of 3 pi over 2. Yeah, that's a 0. Whoops, forgot my x. And then we have minus the cosine of x times your sine of 3 pi over 2, that is a negative 1. So if we look at our problems here, we are going to end up with a few values that cancel out. So your sine x times 0, that's gone. Sine of x times 0, that's gone. So we have a cosine of x times 1 is just cosine of x. Plus, because if you have negative 1 times a negative cosine, that's a cosine of x equals 1. You actually have 2 cosine of x's. So what we have to do is we need to divide both sides by 2. And what we're actually evaluating here now, after we plug all these values in, we simplified this expression down to a cosine x equals a 1/2. So we need to think about our two quadrants where cosine is positive. Well, that's going to be in quadrant 1. And then you're also going to be in quadrant 4. So think about where your cosine is positive. That means where is your x value, a positive 1/2? Well, one of your answers in quadrant 1 is going to be a pi over 3. And the other answer in quadrant 4 is going to be a 5 pi over 3. So what we did is we just simplified an ugly looking problem and tried to make it look a little bit nicer. So your sum and difference formulas are nice and useful. Very nice and useful. Dun, 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 bum, 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 bum. So we put our notes up. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Na 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 na. Hey. Hey. Oh, no.